So, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining our CPD information and Q&A session today. This presentation will be about completing your Monash Engineering CPD requirements. We have a presentation that will go for about 20-25 minutes, and then that should give us another 30 to 40 minutes for questions from students. I guess ideally with this session, the slides will provide some basic information and then also our CPD website is very comprehensive as well. So before you, I guess, have any questions relating the presentations today, just wait until the end of the presentation and then hopefully some of those questions will be answered. So Monash University recognises that its Australian campuses are located on the unceded lands of the people of the Kulin Nations and pays its respects to its elders past and present. So, part of your engineering course will be building your skills through professional development. That's the basis of CPD. Essentially, students will enrol in their CPD unit when they first enrol in their final year project. This is for undergrad students, and your unit code will be ENG 0001. And if you're a Master of Professional Engineering student, then you would enrol in ENG 0003. You can enrol in this unit anytime during your course. So CPD is essentially a professional development requirement by Engineers Australia, and it is tied to your accreditation. So you must complete your CPD in order to graduate. So at the end of the day, you have to think of it as a compulsory course requirement, and you need to satisfy the requirements for your CPD. But the other part of it is that the CPD is a great chance to learn more about real world situations, perhaps outside of what you would normally learn in the classroom. So CPD sort of enables you to engage with employers, industry. Part of the process is to also build your employability skills so that you're more ready for work. And also, I think even more importantly, it will help to essentially create a network of other people in engineering. They can be other students, but also they could be potential employers and other people working in the industry. And the better the connections that you can make with a professional network will, I guess, help you get a really good job once you graduate. So how do I complete my CPD? So essentially, there is a requirement that students complete 420 hours of professional work-related experiences. Of that needs to be 210 hours of engineering-related experiences at least, and the other half can be 210 hours of non-engineering. We'll cover that a little bit further down. Basically, you record your experiences in ePortfolio, and attached to that, you need to write 3 reflections that essentially demonstrate how your experience helped you develop your employability skills. And the final part of CPD is essentially answering the 6 CPD assessment questions about your experiences. This is probably the most important part of your submission because the answers align with Engineers Australia Stage 1 competencies where professional development is really important. And look, once you do graduate and work as an engineer, part of your accreditation will be ongoing professional development even while you're working. So I guess CPD at Monash is a good place to start to build those skills. So we have examples of CPD experiences. They can be paid work, volunteering, different types of internships. Whether an experience was paid or unpaid doesn't actually matter. Interestingly, it's great now that students can get credit for being involved with student teams, and also you can use that towards meeting your CPD requirements. Networking events are another great way of building your CPD experiences. Seminars, project work, quite a few different examples of what you can do to build your CPD hours. And also on our website, we've got some suggestions about things you can do. And also there's a careers and employability website that can help prepare you for work and help you build your experiences. So one of the questions we get is, what's the difference between an engineering experience and a non-engineering experience? So I guess on the engineering related side, there's obviously the obvious thing, which is the work experience. There's engineering curriculum, professional development, there are passive experiences, and there are engineering related project work. So we'll touch on that a little bit further in one of the future slides. On the other side, you have non-engineering experiences, and these are, I guess, more broad. They can be part-time jobs. They could be volunteering outside of an engineering-related field, or even if you're a double degree student, you could claim 70 hours on the non-engineering side of curriculum learning. So this is the pie chart that we have on our website. You can see there that the total is 420. Half of that can be engineering and the other half can be non-engineering. I guess the sections explain are self-explanatory. On the engineering side, it could all be an engineering related work experience, that's fine. Or you can break up that 210 hours into curriculum experiences. There are passive experiences like watching videos, and also you can create and make your own little project related to engineering, and you can claim up to 35 hours in that category. So now we're at engineering related or not, and I think Tanya's going to have a go here. What do you think, Tanya?
Yes, hi everyone, I'm Tanya. I'm part of the Student Services team. So we're going to go through some more information, specifically if you are unsure whether your experience is engineering related or not. So of course some will be obvious that they're engineering related and some maybe not so obvious. So we've got some guidelines on the CPD website that will help you out, basically what's on this slide. Questions to ask yourself. So is the experience being supervised by an engineer? Is it being hosted by an engineering firm? Does the experience focus on engineering concepts that you're learning? Are there presentations given by engineers, or are there engineers within the network that you're networking with? And if it's an engineering club experience, is there an engineering focus? So when you're submitting your CPD, you will need to justify how your experience is engineering related. So of course that's through your e-portfolio submission, which Stuart will go through information about that shortly.
Yeah.
So when you're recording your experiences, a bit of information here about what's engineering curriculum experiences. So what counts as those engineering curriculum? So they are related to one of your engineering units, but work that you complete outside the classroom. So some examples there include group assignment work, your research, assignment preparation, and even preparing a class presentation. So you can count up to 70 hours of engineering curriculum experiences towards your engineering related CPD. Stuart mentioned how important work experience is. And if you do have the opportunity and perhaps in your social or personal networks that you know somebody working in engineering that you can reach out to. So engineering work experience, there's no limit to the number of hours that you can claim for the engineering related. Okay, there is a link here that will take you to a list of activities or experiences if you're not sure and you're looking for suggestions. And just a reminder or a heads up even that if you are going to complete an unpaid placement, you will need to source your own work insurance. If you do need further information about that, you're very welcome to submit an online inquiry or even come and visit us at the Student Services counter. So yeah, if you need some further information. Okay, this is quite a detailed slide. However, the information here is about how you can include your professional practice unit incorporated into your CPD. So the professional practice unit is completed by all students except software engineering students. And we've got here the hours that you can include in your submission. So there's the 4 versions, if you like, of the professional practice unit. You will complete 1 version. So the ANG 4801, the curriculum embedded version or the classroom version, you can include a maximum of 70 hours to count towards your CPD. The other versions basically have no limit to the number of hours that you can include. So the ENG 4802 is for if you're in a student team, so you can no limit on the number of hours you include. 4803 is an industry experience placement, so that would be for an unpaid placement. And again, there's no limit to how many hours you can include. And the ENG 4804 is the co-op unit, and there's no limit to the number of hours that you can include there. So just something to keep in mind when you're coming up to completing your professional practice unit and using that unit as part of your CPD submission.
Thank you.
Okay. And just some information here for supporting documents. This is really important because sometimes in the first round of assessments, students haven't provided the correct or perhaps accurate supporting documents. So it is important to know that for any experience that's more than 35 hours, you will need to provide some type of supporting document. And generally it's a letter, something that's written, which has the details of the company, the experience, when the experience took place, and how many hours were completed. So there's also the information regarding the number of hours for these professional practice units. So with 35, so you must provide the supporting documents for this experiences greater than 35, except in these following cases, which is for the professional practice units. So they're listed there with the curriculum embedded unit 4801. It's up to 70, well, you would be submitting up to 70 hours and you don't need to provide a supporting document. For the other professional practice versions, then they're 115 up to 115 hours. And again, you don't need to provide supporting documents for those. But for anything else that is 35 hours or more, you will need to provide a document. And the supporting documents are uploaded directly with your written record on the ePortfolio. There's also a link on this slide, which will take you to information about supporting documents. Sorry, it's a supporting document template, and you can use a template to provide to any companies that you may be completing activities at.
Yes, thank you very much for that, Tanya. Supporting documents is one of the more critical parts of the process. And it's great if you are taking a professional practice unit, you can automatically claim, up to 115 hours, depending on the category. So essentially, you would log your CPD hours in what we call ePortfolio. So essentially, it's the platform that you use to create a written record about your skills and essentially to develop your and apply during your CPD experience. Sorry about that. So essentially, in the platform, you would nominate an experience category. You would log your experience, including the contact details. You will then need to upload supporting documentation if it is less than 35 hours, unless it's in one of the previous slides exempted categories. And in total, you need to have at least 3 different experiences and 3 different reflections. So you need 3 reflections in total. And we encourage students to use the STAR method to record your answers. And I guess an important part of your submission is to justify how this experiences is related to developing your professional skills as an engineer. Okay, so in terms of skills and reflections, these are the 9 employability skills that you need to write a reflection on. So you only need 3 reflections, but they should be 3 different employability skills. You don't need to write a reflection on all of them, just the 3 that you feel are most relevant to your experience. So this is a little bit more about using the STAR method. I think it's quite important because employers look for STAR responses when employing people. The university does when we apply for jobs within the university, and you will find that most employers in engineering will look at how you answer a question using the STAR method. So whether or not it is for CPD or it even is for an application for a job, you should always try to follow the structure of what the STAR method is. So essentially, this is like the landing page of ePortfolio. This is where you log your experiences. The template essentially includes a how-to video that takes you step by step in how to log your experiences in ePortfolio. And it also keeps an overview of your reflections and the number of hours. And the bottom tab is the answers to your 6 CPD assessment questions. So as I mentioned earlier, as part of your CPD submissions, you need to answer the 6 assessment questions. They are the final part of your ePortfolio submission. Typically, you would write this in your final semester of study because that's when you'll have the most amount of experiences that you can reflect on. And I think on our CPD website through this link, there's a good example of using the STAR method to write a reflection. So these presentation slides will be on our website, and you can link through to the different tabs relating to employability skills and writing STAR reflections. So what do the CPD assessment questions look like? Look, essentially they're lead questions. So first section, as an example, is about ethics and professional accountability. That's great. And the questions themselves guide you to answers. As an example, question leads to which one of the 4 behaviours from the Code of Ethics are you describing? And that just sort of helps you answer the questions in a format that Engineers Australia are looking at. When is your CPD due? So your CPD is due in week 5 of your final semester of study. So this means that even though you might enroll in the CPD unit before your final semester, because it is tied to your final year projects, you actually only need to submit at the beginning of week 5. And the other way this works is also you only get added to that Moodle site for your CPD in your final semester. Usually it's 4 to 6 weeks before that semester starts. So you could be enrolled in the CPD unit, but you won't be enrolled in Moodle until your final semester. And we sort of encourage students to start working on their CPD early in the course, just so you can start building up some small experiences, I guess, and get used to the portal. And then when you get towards the end of your course, it'll be easy just to finish it off and then make the submission. I guess the other important point is about academic integrity. Essentially, it falls under the same structure as all your other courseworks. So it's really important that you follow the guidelines regarding academic integrity and also relating to supporting documents. One of the things you need to be mindful of is that 5% of submissions are edited to make sure all the documents are bona fide. And one last thing down the bottom here, some students meet their course requirements over summer or even over winter. It's important that if you are planning to meet your course requirements outside of the main semesters, you sort of let us know. So you can contact us at the front counter, or you can lodge a course advice inquiry through Monash Connect. Okay, so essentially there's 4 components to meeting your CPD requirements. First part is to build your experiences, obviously. Then you create your e-portfolio submission. You answer the 6 assessment questions. And then the final part is submitting your CPD e-portfolio in Moodle by week 5 of your final semester. So they're the 4 stages of your CPD. In terms of building employability skills, the university has an employability website. Essentially, it can help with students preparing for engineering related work, but it also has a wider Monash focus, and also some of the links and opportunities lead externally to employers. So it's probably a good link to essentially start building up your professional skills. So looks like that finishes our formal presentation, which is great. So there's a couple of QR codes there. The direct link to our Monash Engineering CPD website. And then also, if you have some questions, you can log a Monash Connect inquiry through the QR code. So that concludes the formal presentation. And what I might do is stop sharing, and then I will have the floor opened up to questions.
Yep, we'll open up the chat, and any questions that you have, please put them in the chat, or if you're happy to open your mic and you'd like to ask a question, that's great as well. And we just need one person to start.
Here we go. I'm a teacher. Good. Tanya, would you like to read out the question?
So yeah, this is from Lenkel, a Master of Professional Mechanical Engineering student before Monash, worked at highway maintenance for 4 years, including vehicle and electromechanical equipment maintenance. Can this experience count towards my CPD? And the answer is?
The answer is essentially your CPD hours must be accrued while you're a student at Monash. So it's great that you had that experience before you started here, but from an Engineers Australia perspective, you need to accrue those hours while you're a student at Monash.
Thank you, Stuart. And a question from Aidan. What should we do if our past supervisor on a student team or internship no longer holds that role?
Look, that's a good question, and that comes up sometimes. When it comes to student teams, there is always an academic supervisor, and it is true that these people change. But my understanding is that the academic team leaders do keep tabs on who's involved and when. And if the supervisor has moved on from their role when you're involved with the team, as an example, then you should contact the latest person who's doing it and ask them to provide the supporting document for you.
Okay, a question from Abby. I'm an undergrad student enrolled to do an accelerated master's. Will I have to submit my CPD at the end of my undergrad or at the end of my master's? Good question.
Yep. So the question is at the end of your undergrad. So with the master's accelerated pathway, it's basically two courses stuck together. So in order to do the master's, you actually have to graduate from the undergrad. And to do that, you need to meet your CPD requirements. So yes, the answer is you need to meet your CPD requirements during your undergrad course.
Okay, lots of questions. This is great. So, Eden, is it 3 reflections for 3 separate experiences, and do they all have to be Eng related?
So yes, you need to have 3 separate experiences and 3 separate reflections. Look, ideally they should be engineering related. However, ePortfolio is only able to count 1 reflection per experience. And what this can mean is you may need to write a reflection on a non-engineering related work experience. So if you have no option to do so, then yes, you can write a reflection on a non-engineering related work experience.
And question from Ethan. It was said that supporting documents are only needed for experiences greater than 35 hours. Does that mean passive experiences and individual project work do not require supporting documents?
Great question, and
Yeah.
correct. If it's less than 35 hours, you still need to put descriptions in and justify how your project, as an example, is engineering related, but you do not need to provide supporting documentation. But I guess the key would be a good description and then explaining how it relates to an engineer or engineering.
Another good question. I think it's Lena. Do all experiences need to have a supervisor sign off?
Only experiences over 35 hours, except for the professional practice categories whereby you have different hours that you can claim without a supporting document.
Yeah, okay, that's clarification. Lachlan's asking, do we have to enroll in the CPD unit or will we be automatically enrolled in the final year of study?
So the CPD unit is a co-rec for your final year project. So when you go to enroll in ENG 4701 or FIT 4701, you have to enroll in the CPD unit at that point. Otherwise, WES won't allow you to save.
Yeah, and if you probably still want to know, today's presentation will be found online on the CPD website, and we'll update the website with a link for this video as well. The current link is from the last presentation, which we'll update it.
Yeah, by the end of next Friday, we'll have the new video uploaded to our website, but the presentation slides from today are already on the website.
Thanks, Stuart. Maggie's asking if I'm currently completing an engineering internship as part of ENG for 804, can that count towards all 420 hours, or can it count for a maximum of 210 engineering related?
So yes, it is possible that the 1 engineering related work experience can count for the full 420 hours. But if you can imagine, that's actually 3 months of full-time work. So usually as part of internships or co-op, as an example, there's a minimum requirement of 115 hours, but there's no maximum. But the rule is that if you want to claim more than 115 hours for co-op, you need to have a supporting document that says exactly how many hours that you did spend. But yes, you can count more than 210 hours for your co-op internship if that's how many hours that you've taken.
Okay, from Charlie, just a bit confused as to why the Moodle requirement was listed as different things under semester 1 and 2 of Eng 0001 and Eng 0003 when it seems like everything is due at once. Definitely double checking. I don't need to do anything regarding Eng 0001 before my final semester.
Think I understand the question. Let me read it again. Not sure what it means. Moodle requirements were listed as different things. Well, I guess the due dates in Moodle will be different depending on the semester that you're enrolled in the CPD unit. And I guess the final part of the question is, look, your CPD is due on week 5 of your final semester of study. Even though you may be enrolled in the CPD unit before then, um, students get access to the e-portfolio as soon as they're a commencing student at Monash. So you can start working on your e-portfolio, but it's not due until week 5 of your final semester of study.
Okay, Charlie's just sent through for information that it was the handbook, not Moodle, is it? Charlie, does that answer your question? What Stuart's gone through?
Maybe after the
Okay,
meeting,
let us
I can
know
have a look at,
otherwise.
yeah,
Okay.
maybe, yep, all good.
Yep.
I'll double check the handbook to see if it's confusing or not, and I'll clean it up if I need to.
Yeah. All right.
Next question.
It's from Justin. I'm a self-employed private tutor. What should I do regarding supporting documents for the hours?
Yes, being a tutor is challenging because it's harder to provide supporting documentation. Generally, I guess my view would be if you tried to claim 420 hours as a tutor in an engineering related field, then you would probably have the academics sort of questioning that. Typically, claims for tutoring, like what you've described, would be less than, say 200 hours or 100 hours. And what we ask students is to provide sort of like invoices or some way of demonstrating when you started doing the tutoring, perhaps a few during the tutoring period, and then perhaps one at the end to sort of indicate that you've done it. And then you would probably need to provide a fair amount of detail about what you've done, sort of with whom as a group, and also the sort of things that you were tutoring on. So you need to provide, I guess, some better supporting or substantiating documents is probably even more accurate, but usually it's usually okay.
Okay. Kabir, I think it is. Please don't everybody put through your little breakdowns for us to check. We really don't have time. You can certainly come and see us at the Engineering Student Services desk. Did you want to have a look at that one, student, while we're here? The breakdown for the 210 engineering component as an example.
I'm a bit lost, Tanya.
Uh, so it's Kabir. Would this
Yes.
breakdown be valid for the 210 hours engineering component? So they've listed 70 hours student team, 35 hours personal projects, 70 hours Eng 4801, and 35 hours personal study.
That sounds okay, right?
It sounds okay.
If you may need to maybe lodge an inquiry through Monash Connect or come to see us at the front counter so I can look at it more visually.
Yeah.
In that case, it sounds very specific what
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
needed there, right?
So it's a bit tricky for us to look at that sort of thing today, but as we've mentioned, please come and see us if you need further assistance sort of with looking at your hours. Okay, I think we're at Eden's question. If you work on the operations side of an engineering student team, do those hours count as engineering hours?
Um, if it's a engineering related student team, and I guess that's the whole idea of it being engineering related, if you're involved in the sort of the running of that team, like you might be involved with marketing or management, financial management, we still consider that engineering related work experience because you are doing activities that you would also perhaps do once you graduate as an engineer. So I guess the short answer is yes.
Okay, we'll keep moving along. There's lots of questions. That's good. From Oliver, is it advised worth recording experiences in first year, or should experiences be recorded further into the degree?
Look, I would start as soon as you got something to claim.
Yeah.
Just say you get familiar with the portal and you start building things. It's one of those things is most students leave it until last minute to do it, and so it gets more stressful. If you do start working on it bit by bit while you're a student at Monash, you'll find it a bit easier to get it all done uh, by the time you reach your final semester.
Okay, from Isabel, my FYP is part of a student team. Can I record CPD hours as student team experience, which is outside of the curriculum category?
Yes, you can certainly claim your hours in a student team, and that's generally under the engineering professional development category.
Okay, great. Romans, a Pharm Sci and Chem Eng student. So question, how is CPD working for the double?
Well, I guess the requirements are the same whether you're a single degree student or a double degree student. Um, Sometimes double degree students can claim curriculum experiences on their, like on the pharmacy side or commerce if you're a double degree student, but you still need to meet your CPD requirements on the engineering side. And one general point about double degrees is that your CPD is due in your final semester of study, even if you've only got partner units to complete. So you might have finished your engineering units in fourth year and your final year is doing commerce. Your CPD is still only due in your final year of your degree in total. Okay.
Okay, I think it's Josiah. I'm part of a student team. Would I be able to count practice such as welding or machining practice in the makerspace towards my hours?
Yes, if you're part of a student team, then yes, definitely.
Awesome. Larissa, can a single 420-hour paid engineering placement be used to meet the entire CPD requirement?
Yes, they can. The only caveat is in total, you need three different experiences. So students who have done 420 hours as part of an internship, great for you. You might want to put a curriculum experience in for 35 hours or something. So any work that you do outside of the classroom on a project can be claimed under engineering curriculum. And you might also have a small non-engineering experience that you can put in and write a reflection for.
Great. Moving along. Joshua, my major is civil, but I've worked as a mechanical engineering or at a mechanical engineering factory doing mechanical eng work. Can I count that as CP eng work?
Yes, correct. So basically, we're a little bit specialization agnostic. If you're a mechanical engineer and you did some civil work experience, then that's fine. So because a lot of engineers work in multidisciplinary fields, we're not actually tied for you if you're a mechanical student to do just mechanical engineering work experience. Any work experience that's engineering related is fine.
Okay, thank you. Linshay is asking, can we clock CPD hours outside of Australia?
Yes, certainly can. It doesn't have to be in Australia. The only caveat is it has to be while you're a student at Monash. But yes, you can clock your CPD hours from any country.
Yep. And from Alvin, for group project, our supporting documentation should be signed by the teacher. And how many hours, question mark, and how many hours is the credit or maximum hours?
So I suggest you're referring to like the engineering curriculum category where you spend time on one of your units, like an FYP, outside of normal classroom hours. And in that category, the maximum you can claim is 70, and you do not need to have a supporting document for that.
Okay, from Abby, on the supporting documents page, it said that you can do up to 115 hours of undergrad industry experience, but on a previous slide, you said that we could have unlimited hours
Mm,
from industry experience. Can we
good
do more than
question.
115?
Yes. So the 115 hours comes from the fact that the minimum contact hours for either industry experience or co-op is 150 hours. So that's like the minimum that you'll be required to do for that unit. So if you're doing the minimum hours for that unit, then you don't need a supporting document up to 115 hours. But some students actually work longer on their internships, and they may work more hours than 115. And if that's the case, you do need a supporting document. So you can claim way more than 115 hours doing co-op or industry experience. However, if you want to claim more than 115, you need a supporting document by the supervisor or manager.
Okay, I'm not exactly sure what Matteo means when asking what percentage of students end up in each of the different CPD units.
I'm not sure either.
Do you have anything
Maybe
else to add for that question, Matteo? Nope.
let's go
Okay.
to Aidan's question. Maybe we come back to
Yep.
Matteo.
Cool. All right. What are the requirements regarding use of AI for reflection writings?
Hmm.
Similarly, are there quality standards that must be met, such as a rubric?
Look, there are assessment rubrics. It's sort of quite complex. I
Mm,
don't think it's something that academics would normally share with students. Um, my view is that the answers to the six assessment questions is the most critical part, and your answers are guided through the questions, and you would use the STAR method. In terms of using AI, look, the university is looking at the responsible use of using AI. My view would be that you would write the reflections based on the STAR method, and then you would perhaps ask AI to polish it up a little bit. But you'll find that you won't, it'll be very difficult to use AI to give you good, authentic answers to the six assessment questions unless you have some good input in. It's one of those things, bad data in and bad data out.
mm. Okay, Spiriton, I saw a post on Monash Instagram going to a specialization seminar count towards CPT. Is this engineering? So I'm not
Hmm.
sure if I'm reading.
Good sort of question. I haven't come across that before. Look, normally your involvement, if you're involved as someone behind the stand and helping students guide them through engineering specializations that might be suitable for you, I would say that's engineering professional development. And because the number of hours that you would claim would be less than 35, I think that would be okay to count it on the engineering side.
Tom asks, I didn't catch our coursework project could contribute to CPD hours. What could be count as support document with the limitation 75 hours?
So I think you're talking about engineering curriculum. That is work spent on a project outside of normal classroom hours. You can claim up to 70 hours without a supporting document.
Thank you. Pale asked, as a software major, can we do the professional practice unit shown on slide 11?
Unfortunately not. Software students do have their own types of internships and research units. So you won't be able to take one of the professional practice units that the other engineering students can.
Uh, Campbell's asking, can you enroll in Eng 0001 before year 4? If so, do we need to re-enroll? So yeah, the answer is you can't.
No, yeah, you can accumulate your experiences and log your experiences in ePortfolio at any point. So you don't need to be enrolled in ENG 0001 to record your experiences, but you won't be put into the Moodle site until your final semester of study.
Tong asks, if we are to collect internship hours between semesters, do we apply in advance or can we apply after vacation? Because between semester Monash Connect won't work.
Collect
Not
internship
sure
hours between.
what you're asking, Tom.
So yes, I guess you can have an internship between semesters. That's fine. If you want to get credit for it through industry experience or co-op, then you need to apply and be approved beforehand. But if you've got your own internship, then yep, you can take it. Essentially, if you're allowed to, if you're an international student, then you can do it anytime and claim those hours towards your CPD submission.
Okay, Larissa would like to know, can a single job be written up as 3 separate experiences due to the variety of engineering work?
So interesting question. I guess generally the answer is if it's just the one project that you're working on or the one role that you've got in a company, if it's just the one role, then you can only really claim it once. But a lot of people on internships get different projects over that period of time. And if you were working on 3 different projects, then yes, you could claim them as 3 different experiences.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you. I think it's Wenkel. To Professor Stewart. I'm still an employee of a company in China. When I return to China during the university breaks, I will continue working for the company. Would this count towards my CPD? During the semester, I also handle some documentation work online.
Yes, that's perfectly okay. You can build up your CPD hours in China. And also, if you're doing some work while you're here in Melbourne, that's great. At the end of the day, it's going to be having a supporting document from your employer, supervisor, or manager that says that you spent this amount of time doing your internship. And that could include during the semester if you're doing some documentation, etc., but also, face to face in the company itself.
I'm sorry, I'm
Okay.
Tong. I just ask
Right.
the question
Yes.
between if we can work between the semester. So it is if we want to credits with internship, we must apply in advance. But if we want 60 hours only, we can work anytime and we can report after the work. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct. That's basically correct. With industry experience or co-op, though, and it's like the internship units, they must be in Australia. So you can't get credit for an internship overseas, but you can certainly claim it towards your CPD hours. I think that's an important distinction.
Yeah.
Okay.
Next,
From
Ethan.
Ethan, yeah, are virtual internships like the one offered by Engineers Australia considered passive experiences, or do they count towards work experience?
So all virtual internships are considered engineering related work experience with no limits on the number of hours. A passive experience would be like watching a video, something like that, whereby you're not really involved in the process. You just basically, it's a one-man thing. Whereas virtual internships are a two-way thing where you're contributing to a process or a project.
Okay, Tong, is this must be an additional question from you. If we participate in research projects, is it guided by engineers? It's guided by engineers, but what could that contribute to CPD hours?
So yes, you could claim that towards your CPD hours as long as it's not at Monash, outside of Monash. And you could probably claim that I would say the professional development, the engineering professional development category. That's how I would log that one.
Okay. Larissa again, do we have to pick different activities for CPD than those reflected on during the co-op unit for 804 due to academic integrity requirements?
So,
Sure about.
do we have to pick different activities for CPD?
Did you want to open your mic, Larissa? Or
Yeah, I don't quite
Yeah,
understand the
I'll-
question.
That'd be awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll give you some more clarity. Essentially, when I did the reflections for the co-op unit, I've noticed that the questions are structured almost identically to the CPD questions. And so if I was to pick the same experiences, other than the fact that I'd be typing on my keyboard at separate times, so the words would probably rearrange themselves, it would be the exact same reflection. Is that an academic integrity issue?
I've had that question before. My view is no, because it's still your original material, and essentially you are still genuinely responding to the questions that you've been asked. So yes, in this case, I do not believe it would be an academic integrity issue. Good
Cool,
question,
thanks.
Okay, Alvin, if I'm on a study leave, can I conduct online lecture to my company and credit for CPD? And how many hours will this credit?
Study leave is fine. If you're on intermission, then you are still considered a Monash student. That's great. If I conduct an online lecture to my company. Look, I think you could claim that under the engineering professional development category. And I would imagine that would be less than 35 hours, so you wouldn't need a supporting document. But if it was for more than 35 hours, yes, someone would have to sign it off.
Okay. From Winkle, Masters of Professional Mechanical Engineering student. Oh, sorry, I think, is that?
I think we covered that one earlier, right?
Yeah, sorry, it's popped up again.
That's all right.
From Lachlan, how has the number of experience reflection requirements changed since the move from the old CPD website? I also began logging my experiences on the old portal. Do I have to redo them on the new ePortfolio site?
So the old Student Futures portal was 19 reflections in total, whereas with ePortfolio, you only need 3. So Student Futures now is not accessible by students or even us anymore. So hopefully you might have saved it, and then essentially you could just copy and paste 3 different reflections against the 3 different experiences in ePortfolio. So in a way, if you haven't saved them, you'll have to write them again.
Okay, Alyssa, do we have an example template on the supporting document that needs the supervisor to sign off?
Yes, excitedly we do. So if you go to Monash Engineering CPD and then you go to our FAQs, down the bottom there's some information about supporting documents as well as templates for engineering related work experience and also a template for student teams.
I think Karen's just popped the link in the chat.
Oh, awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. Where are we? Spencer, does the 70 hours of professional practice unit count as your maximum 70 hours of engineering curriculum? Or can you claim additional hours on top of that, such as group work?
So in the engineering curriculum category, it's only a total of 70 hours over a number of different, say, projects that you're working on. So the maximum amount in that category is 70. And yeah, I think that's the answer. It is a maximum of 70 hours in the engineering curriculum category.
Yeah. And Elisa, also to add on, if I have an unpaid work experience outside of Australia, which category would it be in CPD? And does it have a limit of hours for this?
There's no limit as such. If the experience is outside of Australia, that's fine. It's no real difference from a supporting document perspective, whether it's in Australia or not in Australia. And if it was an internship, as an example, it would be engineering related work experience.
Yeah, and Elisa's made a note. It's specific to engineering.
Yeah, that's engineering. That's great.
Yeah. Abby, I'm not, says, I'm not sure if this has already been answered, but how do we access ePortfolio to log our experience?
I think if you just Google like Monash ePortfolio, it'll pop up. And I might get Karen to perhaps post a direct link to ePortfolio. If you could do that, Karen.
Thank you. And from Lachlan, I do have 3 different intern stints at the one workplace and do an experience reflection for each. Does this cover the 3 reflection requirements, or do I need to add another experience like group work?
If you've got 3 different internship stints, as you mentioned, then that's 3 different experiences. That's fine. That gives you your 3 reflections, and then it's just a matter of meeting the minimum amount of hours.
Great. Thanks for putting that link in, Karen, for ePortfolio. And time for one more question, Stuart.
Yes. Have we done Spencer?
That Spencer is the last.
Yes. Also, I am manager. I'll fill that. I guess no to Spencer. So tricky one. If you are the manager, right, then somebody somewhere else has to vouch for your experience and the number of hours. So even if you are a manager, hopefully you're working with a bigger company that other people could be able to provide a supporting document. So yes, you won't be able to provide it for yourself. You'll have to try and find someone who can vouch for you, essentially. Okay. So
Thanks,
thank you.
everyone.
Yes, thanks for attending today's session. I thought it was really good. We had lots of really good questions. I hope the answers were detailed enough. Our CPD website has a lot of information, and you can always see our friendly faces at the Student Services front counter, which is on the ground floor, 14 Alliance Lane. So thank you very much, everyone. Thank you very much, Tanya and Karen. And everyone have a great day.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Have a good afternoon. Bye.
Bye.